They don't dare to invite or meet me. A Kafka-process ongoing every day in Norway, while the leaders of the nation pointing at everyone else who commits injustice. I'm ignored by media. Norway don't dare. This has been going on for the last 21 years. This was in 2016. I have a clear record. Why hide this? When to publish this iconic image from May 13, 2001 in the main Norwegian newspaper and all over the world? That's the question. Jensstoltenberg discussed this with Mr. Donald Trump now, today, on May 17th. What happened at Camp David, Bill? Bill's last Oslo peace process meeting? Then came September 11, 2001 and the war on terror concept started. And it have only been more and more terror. Was it supposed to be like that? At this time, the world leaders was looking for a new old enemy image, named War on Terror. A cake from Pascal. It's a bit like this Rockefeller, all the men sitting with the cake there. World teacher Roger Hegerland. Take a look at Jesus Part 242 Wake-up calls on my webpage. My letter from March 10, 2003 sent to Kofi Annan and George W. Bush and Norwegian media, church and political leaders before the invasion of Iraq in 2003. Everything I have said had been before thing happens. Everything. Go on my webpage and see. This is the man Norway don't dare to meet. This. And Dalai Lama is the man China don't dare to meet. He tells that you must begin with yourself first. I say the same. Norway must begin with themselves first. United States must begin with themselves first. And it must begin with their faith, understand what they believe in. That's the main thing, because it becomes as you believe. This is the picture. Me walking on Frankfurt in 1998. A book fair. A world biggest book fair. My performance ignored by media. Norway don't dare. I was walking around like this. You're not supposed to tell about your childhood or about your life, and you cannot use your hands, because the consensus and other people's expectations stop you. We cannot run a world like that. We must have openness and dialogue. That's democracy. That's how democracy shall work. Not now with some on the top, the same people at the top, making this roller coaster. I sent my manifest to 60 world leaders about one of my former life as Jesus in May 2008 and 2000, and later to 120 world leaders in December 11, 2000 and Nobel Peace Prize in Oslo, Norway. Begin with yourself first. His Pilkos Vext is at Preikestolen in Stavanger. That's my symbol. This is me. Love another. With this scepter I can go in, and it all becomes like what you do to your unknown eye, what you do to your unknown eye. That's why change management doesn't work. I'm in the middle. That's why I'm in the middle. If you discriminate, you will be discriminated. If you do injustice, you will get injustice. It's easy. This is from my 1998 when I was exhibiting my book, Why Am I Afraid of You, Dad, in Germany with this performance. You can read all about it on my webpage. I wrote my first book when I was 29 and a half years before I got this vocation back to one of my past lives as Jesus. Why am I afraid of you, Dad? Childhood, impossible to escape, recreate yourself. Roger Hegerland, Why Am I Afraid of You, Dad? A journey through childhood, youth, and adult life for liberation and self-assessment. Why? Who are my parents? Am I happier acting a role than the truth my children reveals? What has society learned us about handling personal crises, sorrows, passion, anxiety, marriage, and our children? How is it possible to feel a merciless burnout at work when you are at 29 years of age? What values do we base our definition of happiness on? And do we force these definitions upon our children? Childhood builds the foundation for creating a strong family tied close together, but also for developing weaknesses and insecurity and truth. What is really happening within each house? Behind the perfect image we all tend to display. Who are really your children, brothers and sisters? I wish to tear down the walls and display the naked truth, stripped of all illusions, and focus on how we can feel trapped of the expectation laid upon us by our families and all the surroundings. What creates these expectations? And finally, what can you do to take positive control over your own life? Personally, I cannot answer these questions without including my childhood with alcoholic abuse from my father, insecurity in a celebrity family that has been in the spotlight of media for the last 30 years. This was in 1995. And it was censorship. Published in November 1995 and November 1996. Here from a friend I got to my pal Roger from Ken Curtis Festus to my pal Roger. With best of luck and good wishes. This is my book from 2005, Jesus Part 2, Dommen. It's a very, very special story with synchronicity. Go and read it on my webpage. And this was the first, on Allemann, they wrote about me as the new prophet here in Norway. The only magazine who dares to write. You know, the Pol Pot is between the legs of the mothers. That's the Pol Pot. That's the true Pol Pot. Go to Roger That, my new web channel. Subscribe to the channel. And I explain everything. You can go in there and you will get the best education ever. You get it for free. You only need to use your time and try to understand. Roger That, Hegerland, Kingofkingz, YouTube. Or you can meet me at LinkedIn or also Facebook. Who is the elephant in the room? Who is the elephant in the room, says the letter. With the Norwegian flag. You can see it's Mr. Stoltenberg, Jensstoltenberg. With the Norwegian flag in the mouth, placed by UNleader and Erna Solberg, and the church leaders, and many, many more. Winter spring, a journalist in the magazine Allemann wanted to print my story right after the cartoon and prophecy controversy started, and the porn censorship disappeared at the same time in porn films. 2006 in Norway. Reincarnation, it's the right Pearl Gates. Understanding every child is born by a woman. Even Jesus was. A mother and a father with a normal sex life. It's easy, easy. Who is the elephant in the room? It's me. Some considerations, a matter that concerns the whole world. Listen to this. Please listen to this. We are very soon finished now. Norway sails abroad an image where everything seems perfect. I would say to you that it is a lie. My story happened in Norway, and the censorship happens every day from media editors, church leaders and government back to 1995. In Norway, the country which is in lead for human rights and freedom of speech. In the best homes about honor, pedestals, other expectations, consensus, fear. It happens in the celebrity family in Norway, in the best country in the world, ranked by UN. In the country which gives the Nobel Peace Prize, mainly to foreigners, a political ruled community, controlled with their own political agenda abroad. How can this happen? The same church and political elite controls the church. Church election conducted in ways we see the worst land. Norway call it democracy. I call it everyday crucifixion, occupied and inserted themselves and their leaders. The Norwegian church creed shuts out reincarnation. and say they wait for the prophet. How can it be? There are no open doors for my soul and message. One soul have no admittance to the earth. It's about reincarnation for everyone, but not for one. This must end. You cannot believe in crucifying your own leader. It means counterpower every day. Counterpower every day. It's the blind leading the blind. Wake up. At the same time, the church and political leaders teach our children in school to be wary for the prophet. How can they do that? This attitude and belief system creates only more war and opposition, of course. Children's Parade, May 17. Jensstoltenberg. In Norway. Norway is selling a perfect image. I am from a celebrity family. I was 4 years old and my sister was 8 years old back to 1970 when we got famous in Scandinavia, Germany and Norway. It's about children, this. The first time I can really understand my life is when I pass 30 years old. And then they close the doors, the leaders of this country, for my voice. Close the doors. I have a clean record, only top results behind me, with everything I have done. In the land with Scandinavia's biggest child singer back to the 1968-69, my sister and international singer Anita. In Norway, who defined themselves the best in every way. For example, summer 2011. We read in the main newspaper that Norway was in front of fighting against terror in the world. 1 week before the tragedy, right after the national tragedy happened, July 22, 2011, that showed us all the opposite. This is proven in later investigation report July 22, 2011, NOO 2012.14. Where is the world heading when Norway's former prime minister, Norway, Mr. Jensstoltenberg, Norway,